it was the same thing with the business.
What do you mean that you started backwards? Like, is it usually you start off locally and then expand?
And then you expand, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that because I know like I've seen your website and everything like that, and it does seem like everything's like interconnected. So that's kind of cool that it all seems like it's the same industry, and you're wearing like some of your stuff,
some
right?
some jewelry from my website, custom made ring, and then some necklaces that I'm promoting right now. Actually, some of my one of the talent companies that I work with, the talent company that I work with, Sun City Pageants, the director is my best friend. So he loves networking. He loves talking to people, and I always give them a piece of jewelry. Actually, the one that I'm advertising.
Yeah.
So he carries it everywhere, and then he promotes it everywhere everywhere.
That's good. Yeah, that's good because that's how it happens, and especially if you, because like one of the things that you also told me that kind of blew my mind a little bit was that you told me that you had a bunch of motorcycles, and I was like, what do you mean? Like you had a bunch of motorcycles? I was like, no, I would buy and sell.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a scary thing because I feel like you have to take a lot of the initiative yourself, and you just seem like the kind of guy, and I don't think it comes naturally to anybody. It might come naturally to some people more than others, but to you, it just seems like it just comes off so natural to be, so like you're passionate about like sales, it seems, but you also have all these other things that kind of help it with the whole sales and then the modeling, and then modeling goes with the jewelry, and it all comes together in this cool thing. And you just seem, you're very passionate about that stuff, and it's really cool, especially since you've had success with it also, with all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, well, the business is naturally having success and then having downfalls, but
right,
so it's a lot of hard work that sometimes it seems like it's not gonna pay off,
right?
But as long as you keep going, there's stories, numerous stories about people that just kept going and kept going, even though people left them or they had a lot of money being lost and stuff, but they continue, and
it's one of those things where you can never tell, like I know you hear it's a never-ending story, and it happens a lot where people just sink all their money into it, and some people lose it. A lot of people don't realize like you were maybe a step away from it paying off like huge, and you just gave it your all and everything. I mean, I guess that's kind of like what the U.S. is all about. Or that's the idea that we got like as millennials, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you work hard, and we have movies about that. I was watching The Founder. I don't know if you watched it.
The Founder sounds familiar, but
it's the movie about like the McDonald's, how they got started.
Oh, okay.
How I think it was like two brothers, and then Michael Keaton's in it, and he was like the guy that knew business, but he was also kind of like down in the dumps, and he was just trying to retire. And I guess he kind of took advantage of like the McDonald's brothers, how the business ran, and it's a story like that, like where the U.S. has so many success stories and like a lot of not success stories, but it seems like yours was like a success, and it's been. But that comes down to you also. It's a lot of hard work and everything.
I think sometimes you have to pretend to make it seem like you got everything together. Like I have a friend that I call my cousin. He's not really my cousin, but I call him my cousin because we're very close.
Right.
And he used to tell me too. He would give me a lot of advices because he has a successful business, and he was like, sometimes I fall very, very low.
Yeah.
But in front of customers, I still had to pretend like everything is under control. So so they're not scared. So I can keep everything together, and I can keep giving them comfort and trust.
Yeah. Which is what you want from a company, which is good.
Yeah.
I just don't want to make this a downer.
Yeah.
No, but one of the things that I want to talk about is I know you're still Mr. Sun City.
Yes.
So, and how did that go about? Like, how did you get into modeling?
Well,
was it like after? Was it before your business? After you started your business? I thought you'd been doing this for like years and years. Like, even your business, you said it's like 3 years. It's like, really? Like up until now, I thought you had been doing it since, I don't know, 7, 8 years maybe.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm always sometimes you have to adapt to stuff. Right.
Yeah.
I had selling motorcycles. I did it when I was a junior in high school, and then from that the motorcycle, the the motorcycle industry kind of sales went down because of some things that happened. And then COVID-19 happened. Well, I got into selling motorcycles and then cars and then trucks, all the vehicles. And then COVID-19 happened. So everyone had to adapt.
Right.
A lot of people wanted to use motorcycles instead of cars. And then from there, from the COVID-19, I was in the house and I was like, okay, what do I do in the house? The best thing I can do is start a online business, you know? And then from there, I was also like, okay, what am I doing in the house? Like, might as well find something to do. And actually, my mom was the one that told me to join a dancing or modeling or something like that. Something to join something. So I was like, okay, dancing. The first thing that I was going to do, I was going to learn how to dance with the company and just, do different dances and stuff.
Was it with one of the modeling companies or just a dance troupe or something?
I was just trying to find something that could teach me how to dance different dances, like we're Mexicans, so we know how to dance like the Mexican music, right? And cumbias and stuff. But I was trying to learn how to dance like... I don't know, like dances from other countries like salsa or, merengue, so something different.
Right.
So I was trying to...
not just cumbia. Like I know, like that's all I know how to dance.
Yeah.
But it's not all that. Any song that you hear from any other country, it's like, oh yeah, we'll make it a cumbia.
Yeah.
But it's not like like one of my favorite ones that I think is very sexy is bachata. And now it's not that big of a deal. Like but there was a time, probably like 07 or 08 maybe, when I was still high school or barely getting into high school, where it was like one of those things where you're growing. It's like, oh man, I like how that looks. But it kind of ran its course. And, and I grew up. I stopped dancing, and then everything's a cumbia. So you started dancing like what? So you know how to dance like other stuff?
No. I never got into it because it was COVID-19. So everything was shut down. Like literally, you couldn't go in a place where they had a lot of people in one same building.
Right.
You know, so none of the companies that I call a lot of companies, and they were all like closed because they couldn't have any events. It was when people couldn't even go to drive in the street. Because they would get a ticket. You needed to be an essential worker.
Remember? That's like not like a long time ago, but it feels like it was a while back. But it was like a year or two ago. But it feels because I don't think a lot of people. I remember I was working for a trucking company, and they had to give you a paper. It felt like we were like in a movie, where it's like, oh, I'm allowed to work. I don't know if you ever seen World War Z. It's like a zombie movie.
I seen it. Brad Pitt. I love that movie.
It's a great movie. But it felt like that, where like everything's quarantined, and if you get caught like in the streets, like you have to show identification that you're allowed to be on the streets.
Right.
Like nobody realizes, I don't think now, how kind of crazy that was.
Right.
And you bring it back down to also like, no, like I was just trying to go out and learn how to dance.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened then? So you weren't able to do it.
I wasn't able to do
something else.
Yeah, well, my mom was the one that recommended me, and I was like, I don't think I'm good looking enough. And so I was like, if I call my moms think that their son is the most good looking, so I was like, I'm not gonna call my mom. So I called one of my aunts, and then she was like, yeah, but you have to, if you're really gonna do it, just you have to put everything into it, And I was like, well, yeah, like, like whatever I want to do, like I'll put anything into it. And she was like, then do it.
Wow.
So I just decided to go, and then from there, that's when the ball started rolling.
That's cool, because that sounds like you had a lot of support from. I don't know how big your family is, but it does sound like even those two people, your mom and your aunt, were very, very supportive. Because and it's also one of those mentality things where that's great advice, not just because they're your family, but from anybody. It's like if you're gonna do it, go all in.
Yeah.
And it's scary because you're gonna put all your eggs in one basket. It can be scary. So she was the one that told you.
And then I did it, and then I went. Well, first my aunt, I called her because she's the type of person that's gonna tell you the truth.
Okay.
Without she's just gonna tell you the truth. If you're ugly, she's gonna tell you, nah, you're ugly. You're not gonna make it. So
well, that's still good too.
So she told me, and later on, I come to find out that it's not about being attractive, or it's not. You don't have to be the most attractive. It's just about what you can show, the difference that you can bring into the world, basically. You show something that's different.
You want to show like what you mean, like a range, or because you have your own specific style, and that specific style like is yours. Like even if you get somebody that has what you have or anything, it's just your personality or what makes you you. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah. You have to show it yourself. Because, for example, if you're taking a picture, if you're the most attractive person, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people see very attractive people in social media, TikTok, Instagram.
Right.
But you just look at their picture, they're very attractive, but you look at their picture and then you keep scrolling. And then you forget about that person. You even forget about you that you ever saw that picture.
Right.
You keep scrolling. So it doesn't matter how attractive a person is, really. It just matters that it catches your attention because it's something different that you haven't seen before. You know, it's the same thing with business. So as long as you're different, you're going to stand out. And that's what modeling is about. So when companies are the ones that hire models, right? Because they want to show their product. They want to show, they want to show themselves out in advertising.
Yeah.
So they want to show something that's different. Of course, they don't want to show something that's, that you're just going to keep scrolling because it's the same thing. You're bored of it. They want to show something that catches your attention. So our jobs as models is to catch people's attention. So the thing that hooked me with the modeling agency is that they also offered acting. So it was not only modeling, but it was also acting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when they said acting, I was like, whoa, that's cool. So then I paid for the classes and then the photo shoots and stuff. And then from there, I just, the classes, they taught you how to walk. They taught you how to do poses. I love the instructors and they teach very well. And from there, cool. And then I started networking with more models. How do you do this? How do you do that? And then one thing led to another. I did another casting, which sent me to Sun City Pageants. And then with Sun City Pageants, I did a fashion show with them, which was the first fashion show that I had ever done.
When was this?
That was back last year on, I believe it was April or the end of March.
Okay.
So that's when I did the first fashion show. And then 3 days after the fashion show, it was going to be the pageant for Miss and Mr. Sun City. And I had never done a pageant before. I was just barely learning how to model and all that. And I had, learned a little bit. I had practice on myself a lot. So that's when the pageant was going to be 3 days after I knew Sun City pageant.
So you did like a fashion show first?
Yeah.
And then like that was a completely separate thing from like a pageant? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, so they even like the titles for these events are different. Like it's either a fashion show, pageants, or because pageant, I'm guessing it's just like a competition.
Yeah.
And then a fashion show, what is that? It's more of
a fashion show is, for example, have you seen big brands like Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton? They want to showcase their clothing.
Right. Yeah.
So they put a lot of models to walk with their clothes.
Right.
And
okay.
That's the way that they showcase their new inventory.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So that's a fashion show.
And you did that one first. Was that your first fashion show?
Yeah, that was my first fashion show.
Really? And then you went into the pageant afterwards?
Yes, 3 days later. Well, I think that same day I heard Marco, the director, which later on became my best friend. I heard from him that his pageant was going to be like in 3 days if anyone wanted to register at the last minute. And I was like, well, I'm not going to register for what? Like, I don't even know what it is.
Right,
I didn't know what a pageant was. And then he started explaining how it worked and what you would do with the title and what it just meant to be in a pageant. And I liked it because in modeling, the fashion shows, the photo shoots, people just get to see your pictures and you walking, but they never get to see you talk and your personality.
Right.
So with the pageants, it's different. It's kind of the opposite. So it's all about the personality and what you have for your community. So Mr. Sun City, what does Mr. Sun City have for Sun City, for El Paso? So that's the job, that to represent Sun City and to be the perfect role model. for others.
Oh, okay. For basically like the El Pasoan, like the ideal El Pasoan, and then promote our city and the image of our city,
community service, and help other people out and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome, because I know, like, I don't know if it's a thing for modeling, but a lot of the times, kind of like we were saying at the beginning, where you don't want to be reduced to just a pretty face.
Right.
It's like, come on, like, I guess, especially being modeling, you see pretty faces all the time, and it sounds like you want to be a more well-rounded individual. And if you're gonna be in the pageant, you want to hold the title.
Yeah.
You want to have, that's what makes it more prestigious than it's just a pretty looking person.
Yeah. And then you get to show your personality. You get to show people you really have an impact on the world. Mostly your city, right? And then from the city, let's say for example Sun City, you can compete for Texas. Okay. And then from Texas you can compete for the United States, and then Men of the World and stuff like that. For guys. Wow. For girls is Miss Universe, so you can be moving on and moving on. Of course, it's competitions. You have to compete against others. And then, for example, like for Mr. Sun City or for anyone that competes, you have to have a platform. What that is you have to have something that you, like a mission. For example, a lot of people, what they do is help kids that are in the hospitals or help the elderly people. Right. The mission that I had in my platform was I go to a lot of church. So I'm a Christian. So what I do is that I try to help people out spiritually. Because and I told my director that because I understand giving people food, giving people money is going to help them. More food, right? Helping them out, providing them a house. And I told him, and one time he told me a story where he... because Sun City Pageants does a lot of community service. We help with hospitals, we help with kids in need, everything. So he told me a story where he bought, not himself, but with the help of the community, he got someone to rent a house. Okay. So they provided him a house. His family a house. He didn't have to pay for anything. They provided him a house. They provided him food. They provided him money so he can be able to buy clothes and stuff. And it's a kind of a sad story because he got too comfortable. The person got too comfortable, and he was just without working expecting to receive
and that's one of those things where it's gonna happen because there's always people that are gonna try to take advantage of something. And we saw that in the middle of the pandemic where people with gas, it happened recently. I don't know if you noticed it for like a second. But yeah, that's one of those things where if you want to be that positivity, you have to learn how to mitigate those things. Yeah. Because it is going to happen, and if it's somebody that in your position and somebody that wants to have an impact, those things are going to happen. Without a doubt, like, you're going to have downfalls and negativity and stuff, and you have to find a way to be positive and overcome all that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. That's one of those problems that if you're trying to do good, somebody's going to...
Yeah, so what I wanted to fix, instead of fixing the issue that they don't have money, is fixing them from the inside, So I invited a lot of people to church. I helped them out with, I believe words can have more impact than money. And sometimes, So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to help people. Well, I'm still helping people out with, their problems and stuff. I invite them to church. They like it. Sometimes they stay. Sometimes they don't. It happens all the time.
That's one. Why I did the podcast. Why I want to meet other people. Because I like a conversation, and I generalize a lot, and I always think that if you one of the comedians that I had here a while back, I told him it's like whenever I go to the shows and stuff, I always see people as maybe just a comedian. It's like I realize, and I put it in the back of my mind that you have a job or whatever, and then I just see you as like, you're just a comedian. You're just somebody that's trying to say like funny, catchy things on a microphone. And then you start doing interviews and having guests on here and realizing that there's a whole world within that person.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing this.
Yeah.
It's like you too. Like we met doing the show, and like I learned a lot of these things about you. We went like shopping for makeup together, and we did. We got to know each other pretty well to the point where you're now here. Thank you for coming to my podcast. And I get to learn about all this other industry also, about modeling and things like that. Which sounds, it sounds like you're a lot. Like I said, like not to belittle you from what you're doing, but you're not just a model or a pretty face. You're this role model and somebody that cares about the community.
Yeah. Which
that's what my podcast is about. That's why I did it, because it's El Paso. Like I love this city so much that I just want to like showcase it and be able to talk to people here in El Paso doing things, because that's what it makes a story. I had a girlfriend a long time ago that she said that like I feel like this and it's been said before, where El Paso is a city that feels like a small town, where it has the pros and cons, where everybody's in each other's business or everything, but also things that we've gone through here in El Paso, the community comes together for whatever side of the city you live in, whatever area or whatever, we do come together. And if you go out of town and somebody trash talks El Paso, like we'll defend it because we love El Paso, like the people here.
It's our home.
Yeah, it's our home. And like I said, that's why I did the podcast. I was like, you know what, we do a lot of things with Juarez also. We're very connected with the whole sister city thing. It's one of those things that I just love about this area, being in El Paso. It's awesome. Or Texas. You could even see it in my socks. Look.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
That's one of those things that I love it. You also did acting. You said that theater. Had you done theater before?
That was my first time doing theater.
And you were the most.
I don't even know how to say theater.
Theater. Yeah, I know that like if you do theater, I guess you could either spell it at the end RE or ER, and I know there's a difference, but I don't know what the difference is, because it's like if you go to the theater, I think that's RE at the end. But if you do theater, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to explain. I'll have Carlos here and then I'll have him explain to it, because it's always spelled either REER. But that's one of the things that I enjoyed doing a lot. And like I said, I got to meet you there. So how come you did the show? What pushed you to actually go and audition for the show?
I just saw the post that they were casting. And like I said, the modeling, what really hooked me up was acting. So I was thinking to myself, acting in a play where it's live and it's you can't mess up because it's live.
Yeah.
It's different from being in a camera, because in a camera, in a commercial, I work with Netflix, you can mess up, and they're just gonna take the shot again. They're gonna remake the scene, right? But in a play, I feel like you had to learn more how to act. It's more involved, and then you have to react to everything that's going around.
Yeah, you have to be present.
Yeah, you have to be present and stay in character the whole time. So that's what I was looking forward. And then I came to meet you guys, and it was very fun. All of you guys were very fun. And then Carlos, the director, he came to be a very good acting instructor. Yeah. And I just loved the way that he taught. And he's very good at what he does, actually.
Yeah, I always like people in the theater, because there's always like a little craziness to them, where you have to allow yourself to be passionate about it, to where you're more passionate than other people see it, to where you do seem a little off to somebody that's not involved in it. And yeah, Carlos certainly has that, where you have to make a big deal about it, even if it's to you, and then other people will appreciate to it, your passion for it, and yeah, that's one of those things that I love, because I was out of the theater for like 10 years, and then so being back in the show with you, that was my
comeback.
And I mentioned that to Carlos also. But yeah, it's one of those things where you do have to be present, and yeah, it's cool, but you do have to be more passionate than, it's not like you said, if you're gonna do something, you have to go all in. That's certainly one of those things. And yeah, and you did really good too, and it was a really fun time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And then, are you gonna keep doing theater? Are you gonna keep acting?
I'm gonna keep acting. Yes, I'm planning to do a lot of acting right now in the summer.
Okay.
And as much work as I can do right now in the summer, because school is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And yeah. So plays, I don't know, because they take a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I remember in the last weeks we were practicing every day of the week, and for like 4 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So for someone that goes to school, and for someone that has a business, and someone that does modeling and acting, and also the research that I do at Mission, it was just too much. I had to drop my business for a while. Not literally like, drop it, but I lost a lot of time. So it's pretty hard. It's
right. Yeah. You also do a lot though. Like, and I know a lot of people say that, like, I do a lot. I do this and I do that and all these. But you actually do it, like, even school. Like, there's a reason people devote their whole time to school. And you're doing some, like, hard stuff, right? Like, you're doing, like, you were dissecting, like, a brain the other day.
Oh, yeah. I showed it in my
okay,
story.
Yeah.
Well, I was teaching the students how to dissect.
Yeah, and even just that, like, that is somebody's whole time. And on top of that, you have your business, you do modeling, and then you're involved with the community. So, yeah, it's perfectly understandable where you have to pick sometimes.
Yeah.
If you don't have the means or the time to do everything.
Yeah. You also have to keep it in a balance, because I did it one time when I was beginning to start modeling, because I already had my business, and I remember I was doing so many things that some people I had to cancel them, and I felt bad because it's not a good image for you, canceling on people when you had already set a commitment. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm not gonna cancel on people anymore. So I'm just gonna find a balance, and I'm gonna focus on that balance. And
I think that's good. We don't get taught that a balance is a good thing, because you also need time. Like, on top of all the things that you do, you also need time for yourself, for your family. I'm sure you like to relax at home.
I don't.
Put some. You don't. I don't. Well, there's probably a way that you like to relax. Whether it be, maybe at the gym, maybe go to the movies or something. There's got to be a way for you to unwind.
Well, that's why I do modeling, because it's the way that I relax.
Really?
Yeah, the modeling and going to church is the way that I relax. For example, I don't know if you saw a story that I posted where I was working in my backyard while my mom was sleeping in the hammock.
No, I didn't see that, but I did see that you, like, over the course of like 3 or 4 days, I saw that you were where you were cleaning up your yard.
Yeah.
And so that was the way you clear your mind.
Yeah, just going to modeling because it's fun. That's how I relax. And then again, going to church, I have a lot of stories about that. And modeling is just fun. So I it kind of seems like I have a contract with God, because I tell him, okay, I'll be in front of people, and I'll tell everyone about you, and you give me a good life. So that's what he does. I go do the commercials and stuff, and they feed me. They have good the food, and they treat me good and everything. And you're a model, you get compliments and stuff.
Right.
And
then, which is also nice.
Yeah, and it's nice. And in return, I tell everyone about God.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's why, because a lot of people tell me, how do you do it? Because I don't know. I like to stay humble, but a lot of people do ask me how do you do it? How do you like go up there? How do you get followers? How do you get like so many commercials and photo shoots and stuff? And I just tell them I just don't know. I just do my job. Right. I try to do it as best as I could. But I think God is the one that plays the role. And, because I tell them the more people you put me in front of, the more I'm going to tell everyone about you.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. That's very inspirational. And because I know, like, and I don't want to get into that one because it's a whole thing, but I know any religion gets like a bad rap anywhere if you focus on that. So it's really refreshing to see. It's like, kind of like you said, you have to stay positive because I mean, there's negative, but that's why you have to be the positivity, and you have to try to overcome all the negativity with your positivity.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where it's really refreshing to hear that you, because it does. I mean, it's very, to me, it's very apparent that you are actually making a difference, and then you're getting rewarded for it also.
Yeah.
With everything that you're doing, like Sun City, the pageants. It sounds like you're also doing very good with acting, like Netflix, the commercials. Are you going to be doing film also?
Well, that's
Netflix, right? Yeah.
That's what I'm planning to do actually this summer. But it's you have to start somewhere because they have a very tight production team.
Right.
And they need everything to be perfect, you know. So, for example, the way that people go and act is you start somewhere as an extra or something, you know. But they require you to be let's say, for example, you have to show up at 7 in the morning. You have to be there at 7 in the morning. If you're at 7:01, they blacklist you and you can't work with them anymore. So you have to be there very, very punctual.
Yeah.
And you also have to be there. They set you up at 7 in the morning, so you can act at 6 p.m. in the afternoon. Oh, yeah. So they want you at 7 in the morning, and then they dress you up 5 hours later or something, so you can be dressed for a couple of hours before it's your time to shoot.
Wow.
You know, so everything has to be like super perfect. Everything has to be within schedule. Everything has to be, you know, so so yeah, that's where I noticed also that filming, it's you know, it's very precise. They know everything that they're doing.
Right. Yeah. I've had a couple people here before you. One of them was one of the two comedians, because that's kind of where I go to. The comics, it's its own thing also. And I had two of my guests before were Sharita is one of them, and then Jerry Carnes. He does a lot of like the shows at like outdoor events and stuff like that here in El Paso. And I think he had even an award also. And he's also, I think he did also work for Netflix for, I don't know if he's going to keep doing work. And he came out in a show, I think it's called The Cleaning Lady. But yeah, he also drove there. And I think he told me about the hardships about you have to be there. And I mean, if you want to make it in that industry, you have to sacrifice things also. Yeah. And he was one of those things where you're just thankful for being there because, yeah, like you said, it's a very tight-knit industry where if you really want to do it, you want to show that you're willing to.
Yeah.
And he's the one that told me that.
Well, and anything, you had to show commitment because I never thought I was gonna be the right hand of the director for Sun City Pageants.
Yeah,
you know,
that's huge too.
Yeah.
So, how does Sun City Pageants work? Because I know you are currently Mr. Sun City, which is awesome. Kind of, hey, I have Mr. Sun City here in the studio. It's cool. Like it even sounds awesome. But how does that work? You get to, are you part, is your picture like on a plaque where it's like you were Mr. Sun City for this time to this time?
Yeah, it's 1 year. Yeah. 1 year. So I'm Mr. Sun City 2021 basically. So that year passed already, but the crown is passed down to the next Mr. Sun City.
Is that coming up? Did that already happen?
June 5th.
June 5th.
So
we're right on there.
1 week and a half.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, actually, we just had our pageant for Miss New Mexico International. So it's an international pageant, and it's Miss New Mexico for the girls, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So we just had our winners, and we had the competition. It was pretty fun, and so now that pageant is done, now we're gonna have the Sun City pageant for El Paso. And that's something that we're looking forward to because since we focus more on Sun City, the talent company is called Sun City Pageants. Okay. We focus more on it. It's gonna be bigger, so it's something that you should go to actually because it will be fun. It will be fun.
Yeah. I'm starting to get with the podcast. I'm starting to try to do like a remote, not a remote version, but going out because we have a lot of outdoor events and it's awesome because. Not anymore. I still hear people every once in a while say that there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in El Paso. There's a lot of stuff to do in El Paso.
Yeah, there is.
So I'm trying to incorporate it with the podcast, trying to make, even if it's not a podcast remotely, at least go to some of these events and show what it's like to be out on these things. Because it's like I've never been a big fan of like, oh, there's nothing to do. There's nothing. It's like there's always something to do. And even within start of the podcast, there's too many things to do where sometimes you have to pick and choose where you go. But yeah, definitely Mr. Sensei would, I'm going to see if I could try to make it the one event where I start to shoot some stuff and show part of the event on it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to see you on there too.
Yeah. Well, my only role there is to help and pass down my crown.
Right. Only role? It sounds like you're already up here and you're passing it.
Yeah, but it's their competition. It's their time to shine,
Right, yeah.
So I have to let them shine. And, competitions, they're pretty fun. Because, like I said, it's about the model's personality. Right, so I don't know if you've seen fashion shows. Usually the models have the same face. And they basically kind of not show any emotion and they just walk. But in pageants, it's a little bit different. It's mostly about their personality. Right. How they walk, how they can portray themselves, like if they were in live television. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to see, like who would be the perfect model to represent El Paso.
Right. So you want somebody that's genuine also.
Genuine, yeah.
Yeah. Because I know in a lot of like competitions and stuff, there's always where you have to put up a front, and you don't want to seem fake. Like I don't know if we could get into it, but I know there's a lot of like videos on like YouTube and stuff like that where you have these like contestants and they get super nervous in front of the camera where you say things that are funny or you repeat yourself and it makes you look kind of goofy on the camera.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where you have to. It can't be something that's faked. So there has to be a certain like genuine like aspect to that person.
Yeah.
Because if you're fake, I mean, it's gonna show like.
People notice. Yeah, people notice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's hard because people that compete, naturally they get nervous.
Yeah.
Right, but we want someone that either you can't tell that they're nervous or they're not nervous. If the person that is not nervous will most likely, take their crown.
Right. Especially if you're trying to also seem like a good professional and somebody. It makes perfect sense why you won, by the way. Yeah. I'm not over here trying to make not butter you up for anything, but it just makes sense because you're very, since when I met you, it was one of those things where as soon as you say that, you're a model and you do all these things, it can be very intimidating, especially if when you go in front of a camera or in front of an audience, you don't know how you're gonna act, and it comes off. You come off like you already know enough about yourself. That way, when you're put in a situation that would make somebody nervous, you seem very unfazed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you probably saw that some on stage, because on stage it's gonna be a little bit different. Kind of like you said, it's when you're up on there, you have to be present, and if you can't be present, or if you're trying to show somebody that you're not gonna be able to be present in a genuine way. You're gonna freak out, or you're just gonna crumble, and then you're gonna ridicule yourself on stage.
Yeah. Also on TV shows or companies that are doing a commercial, they don't want someone that looks fake. Right. They want someone, for example, if you're doing a commercial about a family, you want the family to look like like it's a happy family. So the people that get the least nervous are usually the people who are gonna show the better aspects of themselves.
Yeah. Plus, it'll probably help you relax.
Yeah, it helps you relax. Yeah, so one of the things that I tell the competitors a lot, because most of them get nervous. Yeah. One thing that I tell them is that to not look at the judges, to not look at people like if they're judging you, but look at them like your friends. So that's one thing that I tell them, and it's hard to do it. But once you do it, just go up there, because it's scary to do it because you think that you have to be super professional and you have to be like a soldier. But once you do it, once you look at them like your friends, the whole thing changes, and you're just talking to them like you know them. Right. And usually they like you better. Even if you mess up, they like you better because everyone messes up, Yeah. But it's good to see someone mess up, but they're genuine. They're like, oh, I messed up. And they keep going and whatever, it's funny. But someone that is just a robot.
Right, if you look too stiff, or like you're trying to act like something or anything. Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool that you can actually set that aside from everything that, because I think everybody that doesn't know what that's like, we kind of put it into a category, like a TV show. If you see somebody on a movie or a TV show, you're like, oh, they're playing somebody. They're pretending to be this character, if it's like a crazy character, scary or whatever it might be. And what you're telling me is like, yeah, no, on these pageants, like you're trying to be as genuine as you can.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool take that from somebody. I remember one of the things that you told me was like, no, like we're just regular people. And it's kind of funny to hear that, because it's like, no, like you guys are good looking people and you guys are still nice. It's like, no, we're regular.
Yeah.
Sit down and have a drink or whatever. It's like, yeah, we're a normal guy.
It's the thing that as soon as people hear model, they associate you with someone that comes out on TV and someone that's famous and someone that, you know, like yesterday someone told me, are you verified on Instagram? And I was like,
are you?
You know, I put the application, well, not for my modeling, but for my business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they associate you with something, you know. That's actually one time I got kicked out of church for being a model, because they associated me with their perspective of modeling was sexual. Yeah. You know, but
that makes sense.
The things that I do were nothing of that sort, you know. But so
that's a nice take on that.
Yeah. Like, so sometimes we judge too early. You know?
Right. Yeah. I think that's just like a normal human thing.
Yeah, it's normal.
Judge. You know, even if you meet somebody immediately, that's how you become friends and all the things. But yeah, I think that's just a natural reaction that we all have, and I don't think most people learn how to, because we do it unconsciously, right? And I think most of us don't know how to do it, how to overwrite that consciously. I don't think. Where you immediately meet somebody, you start judging them, and we actually, one of the things that I've learned is I think we have to purposely overcome our preconceived judgments of somebody or our prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually make a conscious effort to force yourself not to judge somebody.
Right.
And that's one of those things where I think it helps you grow, and it's beneficial to you, but nobody teaches you that. Like you're not taught that in school or anything. You know, in school, like from what I remember, you were always taught manners. Be nice to everybody. It's like, well, yeah, but also you have to be careful with people and how you meet them, but you also have to understand not to judge somebody, and because you're gonna do it anyway. When you see, I mean, you walk out here or you're walking on the store, you're gonna do it just immediately, but you have to force yourself to overcome that and treat somebody, you know what, give them the benefit of the doubt first, and then after that, after you meet the person, if they're somebody you're not willing to associate with, then do that. And if it's somebody, you know, you might meet somebody that's awesome.
Exactly.
Allow ourselves to do that.
Yeah, one time it happened to me that so like I tell you, like all the modeling and stuff, neurosurgeon, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon to help people. You know, so now I'm thinking that you really don't need to be a doctor to be helping people. Mm-hmm. You can do it being in any profession. You know, you can do it however you want. But one time, I went to a party of a friend, of a modeling instructor. Mm-hmm. Her name is Nikki, and her brother was there. His name is Roy, and the mom, Leo, she asked me what was going on in my church and stuff, and I told her, I didn't want her to ask me because I was like, I just got kicked out.
Right.
Yeah, but she asked me, and then I told her the story, and the story is that they thought that modeling was sexualized and everything, but before they kicked me out, we do a prayer, and I was actually scared to do this prayer because every time I offer something to God, or every time I ask him something, he responds. Mm-hmm. And I was scared to offer him or do this prayer because I told God, you know what, if you want to take my modeling, take it. If you want to take my career, my school, my job, my business, my house, I own a house, my cars, whatever you want to take, take it. And I was scared to do it because he has taken things before when I offered him.
Right.
So I offered it to them, And I was like, okay, expect to lose something, you know.
Right.
So that's it. 30 minutes later, the pastor tells me, you know what? We don't believe in modeling. You don't have to come here if you don't want to.
Right.
But we stand for that. We don't believe in modeling.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay. So I couldn't go back to
that's
that.
A very and that's a very rough lesson, I think, and it's one of those things where you have to learn how to graciously bow out of it.
Yeah.
I think, and it sounds like you probably did.
Yeah.
Like the right thing. Isn't there a story in the Bible about that where was it Job or like Noah or was it Moses? I'm not very, I kind of know the stories because I like the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say that like I'm a student of it. But I do know that there's stories where somebody was, probably even Jesus was like very tempted, and somebody offered to God, it's like, hey, whatever you want, like just you can take it. And I think he was tempted by the devil, right?
Yeah.
Where the devil was gonna, God told, was it Job or Job? Yeah. Where the devil or God told him, I'll let you tempt him because I know how much he loves me and he follows me, that you're not gonna take him from me, but I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of like that's the story, right? Like I don't know how bad I'm butchering it, but
yeah, kind of. So yeah, so that happened, and I was with a friend, Gary. She's also a model, and we both got kicked out at the same time, basically. And I was
for modeling.
Yeah, and my plan was just to take people to get to know God for something good,
right? Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that sucks, but okay. So I went to this party, and then the mom asks me, Leo asks me, so how's church going? And I was like,
yeah.
And I just felt, because Roy, her son, we became very good friends now. But back in the day, he was very shut down. He wouldn't like to talk to people. He wouldn't, have a conversation. He wouldn't even like to hang out with no one. He would just come and leave without saying hi or anything. And I just felt like I had to talk to him for some reason, but I didn't know how. Like, how am I going to talk to someone that I don't know? Little do you know, he's right there in the table when Lil, her mom, asks me. And I tell him the story. And then, I was like, hopefully he listened, hopefully something changed. Later on in 1 week, she invites me again to have a little fire bomb.
Right, like a bonfire.
Bonfire. So we have a bonfire, and then she pulls me to the side. Well, first I get there, and Roy, he's wearing a Satanist shirt with the upside down star.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, he didn't listen, or I was like, okay. So little do I know, the mom pulls me to the side, and then she's telling me with a tear, she's like, my son heard you, and he woke me up at 3 a.m. We went to take away the books that he had of witchcraft and stuff, tarot and all that. We went to dump him in the river because he wanted to change. He started talking to his grandma, learning how to pray and all that. And she was telling me, and Marco, my director, he's very good friends with Leo, and he told me, wow, like in all the 12 years that I have known Leo, I've probably seen her cry like 3 times. And I was, well, that's her son, and now Roy is also coming with me to church, and we're becoming very, very good friends. I love this guy, and it's
you made that difference.
Yeah, but it's the theme is that I judged him too soon. Right. I saw the star.
Oh right.
Yeah, the shirt. I saw his shirt, and I was like, he didn't listen to it. Yeah. He was not. But Leo, that day, she told me that was the only shirt that he had. All the rest were dirty. Yeah. And he was asking her, like, do you think God will get mad if I wear this shirt because it's the only one I have? So, wow. Yeah, and I got there, and as soon as I saw him, I started judging.
Right, yeah. It's kind of funny how, because you caught him at, like, the end of the cycle. He's like, you know what, like, I'm starting to change, but this is literally the last shirt. Because that's what I thought you were going to say. It's like, you caught him, like, he was probably getting rid of everything.
Yeah.
And that's the last one that he had. And it's like, you know what, I'll wear it, I hope. And he was probably feeling very guilty, too. Yeah. Especially if he was already planning on doing that change. Yeah. Wow. And that's huge.
Sometimes I just want to say this because sometimes in business or sometimes in life, you are about to, like I was with him. I judged him. I was like, okay, but I'm not going to, say anything. But little do you know, that's when he's about to change, or when you're about to find that transition in your business, you know, and you judge too soon.
Right. So and now he's
he's one of my closest friends, and I love him. It's
oh, that's cool. Yeah. Wow, that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of cool. So he doesn't have any of those. What about his music? Does he listen to that kind of music anymore?
I don't remember, you know.
He probably had some crazy music back then.
Yeah, well, everyone has crazy music. Like, I listen to, like, Cartel de Santa, and I mean, you know, like, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a great story. And like I said, like, that's one of those things where it shows that you're continually, like, just wanting to make a difference. If it's in your community with that one person or anything. And that's, I mean, you certainly deserve to be Mr. Sun City.
Thank you. Awesome. No, and everything is connected, because the more you help, like I said, the more you help others, the more people start to recognize you. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, Leo is a mom, you know, I'm pretty sure she has appreciation, you know?
Right, yeah.
So it's the same thing as if we do something good for someone else. Someone is going to appreciate it, you know? So
that's a great story. Especially, like, I feel like right now we're in a time where we need to hear
good stories.
Yeah. So, it's really nice to hear that. I did want to bring up more about your company and stuff like that.
Yeah, jewelry.
Your jewelry, because that's one of the ways where you do help a lot from what I know in you, and even just now, like, I've been learning a lot more things about you and stuff. So it's also nice to be able to give it back to you. Plus, you also have awesome stuff.
Thank you.
And I know your website and everything, and I wanted to help you promote that stuff too. And I wanted more people to know you. And like about the whole Instagram thing, like I don't really know what like being verified is. Whenever you guys are you verified on Instagram, it's like I think like on Twitter, it's like having the little check mark. But that's why like I want you to know, because you when I met you came off very humble. Mm-hmm. And I just thought you were this like, oh, we need like a good looking guy to play this character, and you came up. It's like you were a great guy and everything, and now learning all these things too, and then you had your company and everything. That's why I wanted to have you here to promote you, what you do, and get to know you. That way, people, if they buy things from your company, if they come see you at the pageant this next week in a week or so, they know more about you and they can appreciate you more. Because it's kind of cool. I mean, and that's gonna go on forever, right? Like you're gonna be Mr. Sun City 2021, and you're in the history books now, I guess.
Yeah, right. Basically.
That's awesome. Yeah. So how do we get to your company? Is it on your Instagram? Do you have an actual
it's everywhere.
website?
I have a website, and it's everywhere. I try to promote it everywhere. It's self-named. It's called erikrayo.com. ERIKRAYO.com.
You want to say that again, because I think I interrupted you.
Yeah, ERIKRAYO. It's my name.com. And so I sell all types of jewelry. If you want to look for gold that's 14K, 24K, real solid gold, or gold plated, stainless steel, tungsten, any type of material that you want to buy. I just try to stay away from materials that are going to leave your skin green, because I don't know. I think that puts a kind of like a bad name. Yeah. A lot of people like it. But I just
what do you mean? Like, is it has to do with the quality, or is it just the material, that how it reacts with certain people's skin, or is it an actual quality thing?
It's the actual material and how it's made. For example, it's like paint. Uh-huh. When you put paint on something, the paint can scratch off. You know, especially when you're sweating on it, especially when you with your pH levels. Mm-hmm. So gold plated essentially means that it's made out of let's say, for example, copper, and then you put a plating or you shower it with gold. It's a little tiny layer of gold. Mm-hmm. However, since it's like paint, it's eventually gonna wear off.
Right.
So it wears off and it paints your color. It paints your skin.
Right. It starts rubbing off on your skin.
Yeah. So I try to stay away. I did start with that type of jewelry, mm-hmm. but I try to stay away from it because I like to to sell things that you can wear for the rest of your life, you know, and it's not gonna cause you trouble or allergies or anything. It's not gonna give you any type of troubles. So I try to, and then since I'm selling real gold, I don't want people to associate real gold with something that's gonna like fade away.
Right. Know? Yeah. That's true. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sell anything. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, eBay, Pinterest. I actually just got approved to sell with Walmart's all in the United States.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Wow. And then thank
That's
you.
Huge.
Etsy, TikTok. I think I just named them all. But yeah, anything that you can think of, basically. And so I try to put myself everywhere. And then since also I'm Mr. Sun City, I try to, you know, incorporate my website since I'm doing it locally as well. Mm-hmm. So I got a couple of model friends to be in my website, to be modeling, you know. So for the cover of, for example, the necklaces, I have Nikki, which is Roy's sister, and she's a modeling instructor. I have her, and then I have another model, Victoria, Luis, Angie, Erica, Jeremy. I have different modeling friends, and I asked them if they can model for my jewelry.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, I try to incorporate El Paso, and then also with my jewelry, since you know, I'm very committed to church, and the Bible asks us to give a 10% of our income of our profit to God. So that's what I do. All the profit that I make, I give the 10%, and also in the church that I go to, they also have like charities, like helping kids, helping you know. Women that are single or they have a baby and stuff, and people that are, you know, in the rough situations. I also try to help them with that. So that some of my profits and all that go to the church and charities.
That's so awesome, because you're not just living it, not just talking about it, but you're one of those people that you are living by example, and you're making the sacrifice to do it, because it's not just talking about it and promoting and things like that. You're actually giving from what you earn, from the stuff that you've put your hard work into it.
Yeah,
you're giving to it. So that's awesome, because it sounds like you're also it looks like it fulfills you.
Well, it fulfills me, yes, but it's also like a circle. Like I said, the more I help people, the more I get helped. I don't know where the help comes from, but you know, sometimes I do. Sometimes it comes from the people that are around me, you know. But sometimes, you know, you just get help from God, or however you want to see it. You just get help, and you know,
the way, either where whether other people want to say karma or whatever it is, or the universe itself.
Yeah.
But the way that you give that devotion to God, and then He provides as well, right? Yeah. That's the message that you get at church, and from what you learn from it. And like, even if you don't associate it with a religion or God, that's a nice way to live your life too. And it seems like you're actually living it. It's like you're giving, and that's coming to you. I know the saying, or it's probably in the Bible, it's like you receive it like tenfold. Like it just multiplies and it comes back to you. And then you just keep being, because I mean, it sounds like you're just being this positivity outwardly and everything, and you're being rewarded. And it's nice, because like getting to know you more, that I can see where it I mean, you know, I'm glad that all these things are happening for you and to you, since you're putting your effort forward.
Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of cool that you see it. Plus, you're, you know, it's Mr. Sun City, and you